Metal Jesus, and I'm back again to do a video I've been looking forward to for a while. I'm a big fan of compilation or anthology discs that a lot of developers put out to kind of cover a wide range of their history of games. And I just love these because they're a great value for your money, especially when there's a bunch of games packed on them, like these right here. Now, there are literally hundreds of these compilations out there. So in order to make this only a two-parter, what I'm going to do is not include the compilations that have, say, only a few games on them. Now, I love those. Those are some of my favorites as well, but I really want to focus on the ones that are great value for your money, the ones that have 5, 10, 15, 20, maybe even more games packed onto a disc. I think those are some of my favorites. I really like discovering some of the hidden gems that are usually squeezed in on those. So those are really cool. So without further delay, let's take a look. If you are an old school arcade fan of the 80s and 90s, well, then you know the name Capcom. And these two classic collections, volume 1 and 2, are packed. I mean, they are packed full of classic games. If you get both volumes, you end up getting a ton of great games from Capcom. A bunch of 2D fighting games, brawlers, shoot 'em ups. I mean, some of the examples here are 1942, Bionic Commando, Final Fight, Forgotten Worlds, Ghosts and Goblins. Oh man, there's so many here. Mercs, Section Z, Street Fighter 2. It just goes on and on. Black Tiger. Ton of great value for this. In addition to the great games, you also get unlockable cheats that will help you beat the games. And sometimes there are training videos that will help you get the upper hand and help you get through tough spots. Also, if you happen to be a wuss like me, sometimes you can set the difficulty settings in games, which is really nice because, you know, I actually like to beat games occasionally. Now, I'd love to tell you guys that I'm really good at the Mega Man series, but you know what? I'm actually not. And that's because I didn't grow up with it. When the original Mega Man game came out, I was playing my Commodore 64. I didn't even have an original NES. And so it's because of that I think that this Anniversary Collection is actually a great way to jump into this series. This Anniversary Collection has the first 8 Mega Man games in it, and it also includes 2 bonus unlockable games. You can learn about the history of Mega Man. There are original artwork to unlock in the game. There's interviews and much more. However, it's worth noting that there is a serious bummer with this collection, and some people can't get past it. And that is, for whatever reason, when they ported this over to the GameCube, they reversed the jump and shoot buttons. And you know, I didn't play the originals, and I still find this to be very difficult. So I can't imagine if you are a longtime fan of the series. It can be a little tough to get used to it, but it's not impossible, but just go into it knowing that. And now we get to one of my favorite collections, Taito Legends 1 and 2. This should be in every classic gamer's collection. First of all, you get an amazing amount of value with these collections. The first Legends has 29 games in it. The second has 35 games packed into it. And I just love the variety of arcade games that are included in here, all the way back to the original Space Invaders, up through Jungle Hunt, Bubble Bobble, so many great games in here. Newer, older, they're all just packed onto these 2 discs. In addition to that, the presentation is great. I mean, you get to see the original arcade cabs and how they look. There's also history of most of the games and interviews with the original developers, how they got their inspiration for creating some of these masterpieces. And then finally, the reason why I like this collection so much is just because there's so many interesting games included in it. Some games that I had never even heard of before turn out to be some of my favorites. Ah yes, now we get to the Metal Slug Anthology on the Wii. This anthology includes 7 classic Metal Slug games. Now, if you haven't played Metal Slug, you are missing out because they are so much fun. They're run and gun shooters, but they have this really unique hand-drawn style. They're just beautiful. And they're actually hilarious too, which you wouldn't really expect. This anthology supports a bunch of different Wii controller combinations, which is really nice. However, in my opinion, The best one to use is the GameCube controller if you have a Wii that supports it and you have an extra GameCube controller sitting around like I do. Makes a ton of difference. The Metal Slug games are just some of my favorite run and gun games. I highly recommend them, and this is a great anthology for the Wii. And besides, stuff blows up real good. Lately it seems like pinball has been making a bit of a comeback, so I thought I would include a Pinball Hall of Fame collection in this video. This is the Gottlieb collection, but there is a Williams collection as well. On this disc you have 7 classic tables including Aces High, Central Park, Big Shot, Genie, Black Hole, Victory, and Teed Off. What I love about this collection is that it includes the history of the table that you're going to be playing, as well as the original flyers. And there are in-depth instructions on how to best play the table, which is very handy when you're playing something complex like Black Hole. And the physics feel pretty good, especially for an old Xbox game, although if you're a bit of a purist, there are newer versions of these for the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3, and also mobile devices like the iPad and Android. Now, I'm no expert on pinball, but 7 games included on one disc, that's a pretty good value, and it's a lot of fun. So that's part 1 of some of my favorite compilation discs, but you know what? I've got a bunch more of these in my collection, so I'm gonna do another video coming real soon. But more than that, I'd really like to know what you guys think. What are some of your favorite compilations that have come out over the years? And not just discs, like do you have some cartridges? Because I know there's some on the Genesis, some on the Nintendo. Let me know which ones I need to add to my collection and which ones you'd like to see in the second video. As always, I want to thank you for watching my channel and thanks for subscribing. Take care.